and welcome to Political Progress with Marie-Noëlle Lanthier. How are you today?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. Now, let's get right into it. My first question for you is, could you describe to us and the audience the purpose or the mission of Leadership Féminin Prescott Russell?
Well, the organization was started by Francophone women from Prescott Russell way back in 2017, I'd say 2016, when we started having conversation about, actually, now that I think of it, it was my first term as a counselor in the nation, and I was the only woman at the table, and I noticed that it was really similar in other municipalities. So out of the 8 municipalities, 5 of them only had one woman at the council table. So that brought some questions and discussions with some of the colleagues that I had and within my own social circle. And so from that discussion, we thought, well, we should do better. We could do better to support women's leadership in Prescott Russell, whether it be in politics or in governance. So from there, we prepared our own action plan, and it was launched in 2018 on International Women's Day, and I remember it was in Saint Isidore in 2018. And then in 2020, we became an incorporated organization. So that's the status we have since then. So it is a nonprofit organization, fully incorporated.
Wonderful, wonderful. So on May 1st, you launched a campaign to recruit candidates for the 2026 municipal election. Mm-hmm. What is the theme and objective of this said campaign?
Well, the theme is it takes women like you in municipal politics, because we wanted to send a call to action directly to women, because what we found is that most women will really question their skills, their competence, their readiness, their level of readiness to engage in active politics. And oftentimes that's, the first, when we approach them and say, well, do you think, you might be interested to run, the first thing they'll say was, well, I'm not sure I've got what it takes. I'm not sure that I would be good at it, or that I have all the knowledge that I need to be a councillor or mayor. So what we want to say is that you are bringing, and women have a diversity of different skills, and some are from the business sectors, some are from the professional sectors, some are stay-at-home moms, some are, from different backgrounds, and we also want to talk about diversity as well. So women bring a lot to the table. It's a matter of them knowing that they already have what it needs. The rest they can learn. But they already have a lot to offer for the betterment of their own community.
Absolutely. And, what does women's representation currently look like at the municipal level in Prescott Russell?
Well, right now, I'll start by saying that across the 8 municipalities of Prescott Russell, there's 52 municipal seats. So that includes the mayors and the councillors in all the municipalities. So that totals 52 seats. And currently, women occupy 13 of these seats. So that represents 25%. Of all of the total of the seats. Now, in 2022, to get to 13 elected female candidates, we had 21 candidates who were running. So for this campaign, we figured that if we could double the number of candidates, so 42 plus a few more, so we made it 50. Perhaps we can get to 26 seats, which would represent half of the total. It would be
amazing, right?
It would be amazing, and it would be, and it may not be that we'll reach parity in each one of the municipalities, but at least across Prescott-Russell, we could have a good balance and an equal balance of men and women in municipal politics.
And numbers are amazing, but the real question is, why is it important to increase that number to, for municipal councils and school boards in the region?
Well, our women represent 50% and even a bit more of the population. And that's true for Prescott-Russell, and it's true for the country. And so why would you have 25% representation at the political level in a democracy when women represent 50% of the population?
Absolutely.
And women have a different experience of life from men. It's not better, it's not worse, it's different. Simply because we were raised and socialized differently, even within the same family. I'm sure that as, you're still a young man, but if I look at myself as a young woman, I didn't have the same advice from my parents that my brothers
Absolutely.
did. So that in itself makes it such that if you have issues, we see it differently. We bring a different perspective and sometimes different solutions to the same problem. So by having an equal number of women and men making decisions, well, you have more, it's a way to bring more, not only equality, but a better, an équilibre.
A balance.
A balance.
A balance to things.
Thank you. A balance in that, in the decision-making process, and in the end, in a better decision
Absolutely.
as well, and better solutions that takes into account not just one perspective, but many perspectives that are brought at the table. And it's the same thing when we talk about diversity. Again, it's bringing a different experience to the table that will make it that debate will become more interesting as well.
And I absolutely agree with you. And what are the benefits really of serving as an elected official? And why should women, apart from the reasons you said already, consider getting involved in those active politics?
Well, I think it's a great experience. And, having been a counselor myself for 2 terms, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about how things work, how government works. And I've met some great people from other municipalities as well. Because that was the thing, too, that I had noticed when I first started. I didn't know who was part of those other municipal councils. And although, Prescott-Russell is a big area, it's never that big. I mean, we always know people from the surrounding areas. So that was certainly one thing, that the amount of learning that you do, the people that you meet. And like in a professional career, it can open doors for you as well. After you're done your term, or when you leave politics, it allows you to have an influence on policies and practices within your municipality. It allows you to have an influence on the vision of the municipality around budgeting. So it allows you to have a say in how taxpayers' money is being used. It's also an opportunity, of course, to get a salary, because this is not volunteer work. And women do a lot of volunteer work already. So this is a way that they can contribute to the well-being of their communities and the decision-making around infrastructures, but at the same time also getting a salary, and they're all part-time. But it can be interesting, for some women, and I think that those are some of the benefits of running, and at the same time meeting some really interesting people and getting to know how government works. I think is one of the best one of the best benefits.
Absolutely. What are municipal associations doing to encourage this achievement of gender parity in municipal politics in Ontario?
Well, AMO, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, which is probably the largest, because there's quite a few associations. You got ROMA, which is the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, and they have other associations in Northern Ontario. But certainly AMO, we call it AMO, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, is probably the largest. And they came up with this project a couple of years ago, and they decided to invest, not because they felt like it, but because there was a need. Because they analyze the results from one election cycle to another. And what they've discovered is that there are fewer people running for office. From 2018 to 2022, there were definitely less people, more women, and too many acclamations, especially in rural areas like ours, where people are just acclaimed, so there's no opposition. And that's never really good. No. For politics. So those issues, but the fact that you have less people wanting to run is a real problem.
Absolutely.
And as you know, the level of toxicity on social media makes it less interesting in getting into politics.
Absolutely.
And staying in politics. And we know that, for example, the mayor former mayor of Russell, Mr. Leroux, he was fine with the position of mayor of Russell until he started getting a lot of attacks online, and he was a popular guy. So imagine if he wasn't. So, but that led him to leave municipal politics. We're looking at Sarah Good in this particular campaign in Cornwall. She was going to run for mayor. She was elected as councillor in 2022, and she ended up with she got the most votes in that election. So she was obviously someone who was very popular.
Absolutely.
And but the attacks she got online, and it was online only, because when she'd meet people, it was great interaction. But after a while, this gets to your head, and that's what those people want, is to push you out. And she eventually not only retract her candidacy for mayor, but she's not running for councillor either. So you have a very competent person who is being pushed out of politics, of municipal politics altogether, because of that. So this is something that the associations, those are the issues associations will need to address and help the municipalities at all levels to deal with this, and to make sure that the municipal arena is one that is safe, and that we treat people with respect, because it takes courage to
Absolutely,
to
yes.
run, to put your name on the ballot. And a lot of people like to complain, but
They're not in that position.
they're not in that position, and most of them don't have the courage to,
Absolutely.
So it's easy online, when you're on your keyboard and,
Behind the screen.
exactly, to say horrific things that are not right anyway. So those are some of the issues that the associations are concerned about, and for that reason, AMO came up with this initiative that's called the Healthy Democracy Project. And the Healthy Democracy Project addresses some of those issues, but also addresses the issue of diversity, because our municipalities are getting more and more diverse. We're having more people who are immigrating in our area, and it's not reflected, and the council should reflect the community that they are serving. And they're not at the table at all, I'd say, in Prescott Russell at this point.
Could you tell us about the activities related to your campaign, It Takes Women Like You, in municipal politics?
Yes.
To encourage women to step forward and run. And what resources would be available for these women who are interested in
Sure.
running?
Well, first we'll talk about the resources, because we have on our website a section that is dedicated to municipal politics. And we have some pamphlets that are digitally available on the website. And those are more the motivational type pamphlet that talks about the benefits of running. But we also have one that is a bilingual pamphlet, and it talks about what the process is, what are the timelines, because to run, and we launched the campaign on May 1st, because May 1st was the first day that you could submit your candidacy at the clerk's office in any of the municipalities. And, it's across Ontario. So May 1st was the first day, and the nomination period closes on August 21st. So this is the window of time that people have to run. So this pamphlet really gives you the ins and outs, and the cost of campaigning and all that good stuff. And we also have one that says, well, who does what? So amongst the different levels of government. So because that's one thing that often women will ask is that, well, what's the role of the councillor or mayor or the municipally elected official. And we also have some posters that certainly remind people of some of the benefits of running, and why it's important for women to run. Again, when we look at some of the statistics. But so other than that, and we also have some information sessions that you can watch from the website, and there's some guides that are available to guide you through, the campaign piece. Also explains the role of what's your job as a councillor or as mayor. Mm-hmm. And how, what are the other, what are experiences that can be shared from other elected officials in our area. So those are available on our website. Other than that, we have decided with a group of elected women in Prescott Russell from different municipalities that instead of having the traditional campaign school, that we'd have more mentorship. So they offered themselves up to take calls, for 20 minutes, half an hour, I'm prepared to speak to someone who's not sure, is interested, but still not sure whether or not she wants to run. And what we try and do is match them with an elected official from a different municipality than the person who's asking the information. And so we do that. We also had a couple of events. The first one was at the Russell Library, where we invited women and men to an event that was called Ask Me Anything about municipal politics. And with me, we had the former, not the former mayor, but the maire adjoint from, it was North Stormont or South Stormont. Anyways, Kirsten Gardner and myself as former municipal candidates and people who ran and were in politics for a while, to ask any question that they might have about, the experience and everything else. So we had that first event in Russell at the beginning of May, and a couple of weeks ago it was in Hawkesbury, and we had Karma Williams, who's the deputy mayor. That's the name. That was the title I was looking for. Deputy mayor of North Glengarry. And so those events were bilingual, and women could ask any questions they had about their experience and what it takes, what are some of the issues that women face in politics, because there are, and men do as well, but it tends to be more severe towards women. So we have those activities along with the campaign, and yesterday we launched a short video of male allies who want to support the campaign, and whose message was to say that yes, we think we have some very bright women in Prescott Russell, and we encourage them to run, and we encourage them to be part of building the future of our communities. So yes, go, go, go. So.
Well, it was a wonderful interview with you. It was an honor, a privilege to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I think it's really important. It's really important, the work that you do here, because the messages need to get out there, and people need to be informed. And I know that sometimes, they say, well, why are we putting so much energy in that? And well, because it makes for better. It makes for better decisions, and it's the right thing to do. So yes, we hope that we get a lot of support, and that people really pay attention and ask people, because when people are asked, for women you need to ask them many times, but for men not so much. But for women you need to ask them quite a few times before they really take the ask seriously. So keep asking.
Well, we shall do that here at TVC 22. Thank you for the audience for watching this new episode of Political Progress with Marie-Noëlle Lanthier. This was Mathis Roy, and thank you for watching.